Welcome to Glory Global. Today, we're diving into a really simple, but honestly, an incredibly powerful financial distinction: saving money versus protecting money. Now, I know it sounds super basic, right? But misunderstanding this one core concept is where so many well-intentioned people get entirely tripped up. So let's just jump right into this explainer.
Think about this for a second. Saving and protecting money are not the same thing, and most people, well, they only focus on one. If you don't understand the difference between the two, you could genuinely think you're building wealth when in reality, you're actually leaving it completely exposed. We see our account balances go up and we instantly feel safe. But while saving is absolutely an important habit, it's really only one piece of the whole puzzle.
All right, so let's start with the wealth exposure trap and why relying on saving alone is just dangerous.
Which brings us to the reality of saving and what saving can actually accomplish for you. Okay, so fundamentally, saving money just means setting aside your funds for short-term needs or emergencies. Notice the emphasis on short-term there. You're basically parking your cash somewhere safe so that it's right there waiting for you when you need to grab it quickly. We're talking about things like your emergency fund, vacation money, short-term goals, or planned purchases like a new fridge or a down payment on a car. The primary benefit here, it's liquidity, meaning you can access your cash fast without jumping through a bunch of hoops. And for that exact purpose, saving is absolutely brilliant.
But here is the harsh reality we have to face. Saving alone does not guarantee growth, and it definitely doesn't automatically protect your money from broader risks. If you literally just have cash sitting in a bank account, it is entirely exposed to inflation, silently eating away its purchasing power, market volatility, or, massive unexpected life events. Basically, a savings account is a holding zone. It is not a fortress.
Moving on to the power of protection and how you actually go about building that financial fortress. Now, protecting money means using specific financial strategies and tools that are actually designed to reduce your risk and preserve the value of your wealth. Protection is your proactive shield. It focuses entirely on making sure that sudden, unexpected events do not completely derail the financial progress you've worked so hard for. It's not just about having cash on hand. It's about guarding the total value of everything you've built up. So what does actual real-world protection look like? Well, it includes proper insurance planning, dedicated risk management strategies, structured financial plans, asset protection tools, and long-term planning strategies. These are the heavy-hitting tools that go to work for you when life throws a massive curveball that your basic savings account simply cannot handle. I want to pause for a second and ask you directly, what happens if you get sick? Or what happens if your income suddenly stops entirely? What happens if the market takes a massive drop, or life just changes out of nowhere? If your only answer to those absolute worst-case scenarios is your savings account, then your wealth is incredibly exposed. You see, protection is all about preparing for those possibilities well in advance. It is entirely about proactive preparation rather than reactive scrambling. You have to put the shield in place before the storm hits, not while it's already raining. Let's look at bridging the financial gap and how combining saving and protecting actually works in practice. Look at it this way. If you only save but don't protect, you have money sitting in an account that is deeply vulnerable to all those financial risks we just talked about. On the flip side, if you only focus on protection but you never save, you might have amazing coverage for disasters but absolutely no daily cash flow strategy. Both of these extremes are dangerous. They have to work together. Real lasting financial stability actually comes from a very straightforward three-step formula. 1, saving for liquidity. 2, protecting for risk management. And 3, planning for long-term growth. It's never a matter of choosing just one. It's about understanding exactly how these three pillars support each other to keep you completely covered. Which brings us to your new perspective and looking at the much bigger picture here.
Think about your own upbringing for a minute. Most people were taught how to earn money, right? Some of us were taught how to save money, but very, very few people were ever taught how to strategically protect and structure that money. There is a massive educational gap in our society, and honestly, it leaves millions of people completely vulnerable.
But here is the good news. Getting this financial education changes your perspective entirely. When you finally grasp the difference between saving and protecting, a massive shift happens. You stop guessing. You start making your financial decisions intentionally, based on a solid strategy, instead of just reacting emotionally to whatever scary financial headline pops up next. Because at the end of the day, personal finance is exactly that. It's incredibly personal.
Everyone's risk threshold, their income, their unique life circumstances are totally different, which means your ideal balance of saving and protecting is going to look different from anyone else's. So I have to ask, want me to explain the difference in more detail for your specific situation? If this explainer helped you and you want to understand how saving and protection can actually work together for you, here are your next steps. You can visit the Glory Global blog linked right down in the description for more insights, or just go ahead and fill out our free consultation form. Let's sit down, review your goals together, and help you build a much clearer financial strategy, one that doesn't just save your money, but fiercely protects it. Thanks so much for joining me today, and let's get out there and build that financial fortress.